Well, there comes a moment in life when everything feels uncertain, when your plans fall apart, when your strength seems to fade, and your heart quietly asks, "Why is this happening to me?" In that moment, you stand at a crossroads. Either you allow fear to take over, or you choose to trust the one who controls everything. And that choice, my brothers and sisters, defines everything that follows. You see, trusting Allah is not just something we say with our tongues. It is something we carry deep within our hearts, especially when life does not go the way we expected. It is easy to say, "I trust Allah," when things are going well. But the real test comes when doors close, when prayers seem delayed, and when the path ahead is unclear. Understand this clearly. Allah does not abandon His servants. Not for a moment, not for a second. Even when you cannot see the way, He is making a way. Even when you feel alone, He is closer to you than you can imagine. And even when everything appears to be falling apart, in reality, things may be falling perfectly into place. Sometimes, what you are asking for is not what you need right now. And sometimes, what you fear is actually what will bring you closer to success, closer to peace, and closer to Allah Himself. So when things don't happen your way, don't lose hope. Because Allah sees what you do not see. He knows what you do not know. Trusting Allah means you believe that whatever He chooses for you is better than what you choose for yourself. It means you keep moving forward, even when you don't understand the outcome. It means you hold on to hope, even when everything around you tells you to give up. And when you reach that level of trust, when your heart is firm, when your faith is strong, when your reliance is sincere, that is when miracles begin to unfold in ways you never imagined. So hold on. Be patient. Keep your faith alive. Because when you truly trust Allah, miracles don't just happen, they follow. True trust in Allah begins at the exact point where your sense of control starts to slip away. It is easy to feel confident and secure when everything is going according to your plans, when your efforts are producing the results you expected, and when life feels predictable. In those moments you may say you trust Allah, but deep down, you are also relying heavily on your own ability to manage, organize, and control outcomes. Real trust, however, is not revealed in ease. It is revealed in uncertainty. There comes a time in every person's life when things do not go as planned. You prepare for something, you work hard, you make dua, and yet the result is completely different from what you hoped for. That is the moment when control begins to fade. You realize that no matter how strong you are, no matter how intelligent or capable you may be, there are forces beyond your power. And it is in that very moment that your heart is invited to shift from relying on yourself to relying fully on Allah. Letting go of control does not mean becoming careless or lazy. It does not mean you stop making effort or stop planning your life. Islam teaches balance. You tie your camel and then you trust Allah. You do your part with sincerity and dedication, but you do not attach your heart to the outcome. You understand that outcomes are in the hands of Allah alone. This realization brings a sense of calm that cannot be achieved through control alone. Many people struggle with this concept because they fear losing control. They think that if they do not hold tightly to every detail, everything will fall apart. But the truth is, holding on to control too tightly often leads to anxiety, stress, and disappointment. You begin to measure your worth based on results, and when those results do not come, you feel lost. Trusting Allah frees you from this burden. It allows you to focus on your intentions and your efforts, while leaving the results to the one who knows what is best for you. When control ends, a deeper level of faith begins. You start to see things differently. You begin to understand that delays are not denials. You realize that closed doors are not punishments. Sometimes they are protection. Sometimes they are redirection. And sometimes they are preparation for something greater that you cannot yet comprehend. Think about the moments when you felt completely helpless, when you had no answers, no clear direction, and no strength left within you. Those were the moments when your heart turned sincerely to Allah. Those were the moments when your duas were not just words, but cries from the depths of your soul. And often, those are the moments when you felt a strange sense of peace, even before your situation changed. That peace is a sign of trust. It is a sign that your heart has started to rely on Allah rather than on circumstances. Trusting Allah at the loss of control also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not in charge of everything, and that is not a weakness, that is a reality. You are a servant, and Allah is the creator, the planner, the controller of all affairs. When you accept this, your heart becomes lighter. You stop trying to carry burdens that were never meant for you to carry. There is also a hidden beauty in surrendering control. When you let go and place your trust in Allah, you open yourself to outcomes that you never could have planned for. Sometimes, what Allah gives you is far greater than what you are asking for. But you would never have received it if things had gone according to your limited understanding. Your vision is restricted to what you can see, but Allah's knowledge encompasses everything past, present, and future. This kind of trust does not develop overnight. It is built through experiences, through tests, through moments of doubt and moments of clarity. Each time you choose to trust Allah, despite not understanding your situation, your faith grows stronger. Each time you let go of the need to control every outcome, your heart becomes more at peace. It is important to remind yourself that control is an illusion. You may feel like you are in control, but in reality, everything is already under the control of Allah. Your role is not to control outcomes, your role is to strive, to believe, and to trust. When you internalize this, you begin to live differently. You still plan, you still work hard, but your heart remains anchored in trust rather than fear. And so when life takes an unexpected turn, when your plans fall apart, and when you feel like you are losing control, do not see it as the end. See it as the beginning of something deeper. A chance to strengthen your connection with Allah, a chance to grow in faith, a chance to experience a level of peace that comes only when you truly let go and trust Him completely. Every hardship that enters your life carries within it a wisdom that is not always visible at first glance. When difficulties strike, the natural reaction is to question, to feel overwhelmed, and to search for immediate answers. You may wonder why something painful had to happen, why your plans were disrupted, or why you are being tested in a way that feels heavier than what you can bear. But what often escapes us in those moments is the understanding that nothing occurs without purpose, and nothing reaches you except that it has already passed through the wisdom of Allah. Hardship is not a sign that you are forgotten. In fact, it can be a sign that you are being prepared, shaped, and elevated in ways you do not yet realize. Sometimes, the very thing you are struggling with is the means through which your character is refined. It teaches patience when you feel like reacting. It teaches humility when you feel like relying on yourself. And it teaches sincerity when you feel like giving up. There are moments in life when everything seems to be taken away from you, or at least that is how it feels. A door closes, an opportunity disappears, a relationship changes, or a plan collapses. Well, in that moment, it is easy to label it as loss. But with time, you often come to realize that what you thought was a loss was actually a form of protection. You were being saved from something you could not see, something that may have harmed you in ways you did not anticipate. Sometimes the wisdom behind hardship is not about what is being taken away, but about what is being given in return. Strength is built through struggle. Resilience is born from difficulty. A heart that has never experienced hardship may remain unaware of its true capacity. But when it is tested, it begins to discover depths of patience, gratitude, and reliance on Allah that were never accessed before. It is also important to understand that hardship has a way of bringing you closer to Allah. When life is easy, it is possible to become distracted, to become comfortable, and to slowly drift away from sincere connection. But when you are faced with challenges, your heart naturally turns back, your prayers become more focused, your du'as become more heartfelt, and your reliance becomes more real. This return to Allah is one of the greatest forms of wisdom hidden within hardship. Not every answer comes immediately. There are situations where you may not understand the reason behind a hardship, even after a long time. And that is part of the test itself. True faith is not dependent on knowing every reason. It is built on trusting that there is a reason, even if it remains hidden from you. This trust allows you to move forward without being consumed by questions that may never be fully answered. There is also a transformation that takes place within you when you go through hardship with patience. You begin to see the world differently. You become more compassionate towards others because you understand pain. You become more grateful for small blessings because you have experienced moments when even the smallest relief felt like a gift. Your perspective shifts, and with it, your appreciation for life deepens. Hardship can also redirect your path. You may have been heading in a direction that seemed right to you, but Allah, in His infinite knowledge, knew that another path was better for you. The difficulty you face may be the very thing that turns you away from something harmful and guides you towards something beneficial. At the time, it may feel confusing and even frustrating, but later you begin to see how each event was leading you exactly where you needed to be. One of the most powerful aspects of hardship is that it reminds you of your dependence on Allah. It breaks the illusion of complete independence and brings you back to the reality that you are in need of your Creator at all times. This realization is not meant to weaken you. It is meant to strengthen your connection with the One who has control over all affairs. When you start to look at hardship through this lens, your entire outlook begins to change. Instead of seeing it as something purely negative, you begin to recognize that it carries layers of meaning and benefit. Even if the situation itself is painful, the outcomes it produces within you can be deeply positive and transformative. And so, while hardship may test your patience and challenge your understanding, it also carries within it a wisdom that unfolds gradually, teaching you lessons, shaping your character, and guiding you in ways you could never have planned for yourself. Patience is not simply about waiting, it is about how you carry yourself while you are waiting. It is about maintaining your faith when things are not going your way, holding on to hope when results are delayed, and keeping your heart steady when emotions try to overwhelm you. Many people think patience means doing nothing, but in reality, patience is an active state of the heart. It requires strength, discipline, and a deep connection with Allah. When you face difficulties, your first reaction may be frustration or even despair. You may feel like things are moving too slowly or not moving at all. In those moments, patience becomes your anchor. It keeps you from making decisions based on temporary emotions. It protects you from saying words you might regret or taking actions that could harm you later. Patience allows you to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom rather than react with impulse. At the same time, patience strengthens your faith in a very powerful way. Every moment you choose to trust Allah instead of complaining, your faith grows. Every time you resist the urge to give up and instead turn to Allah with sincerity, your connection with Him deepens. Patience is not just about enduring hardship, it is about transforming that hardship into a means of drawing closer to Allah. There is something remarkable that happens when a person practices patience consistently. Their perspective begins to shift. Instead of focusing only on what they are missing, they start to notice what they still have. Gratitude begins to develop alongside patience, and together they create a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. Even in difficult times, the heart finds moments of calm because it knows that everything is under Allah's control. Patience also teaches you to trust the process. Not everything in life is meant to happen instantly. Some things require time, growth, and preparation. When you rush outcomes, you may end up with something incomplete or unstable. But when you allow things to unfold at the pace Allah has set for you, the results often come with more stability